morning, everybody, and welcome to our show. I am Doc Carball with Keller Williams Realty. If you don't know it by now, you should know my slogan. If you want opportunity to knock, you talk to Doc. And here is my lovely co-host.
Thank you, Doc.
Regina Pickle Lewis. Good to see you.
Nice to see you, Doc.
And we have a great show for you this time. Of course, I always say we have a great show because I don't think it'd be good to come on here and say we got this terrible show, but stick with us anyway. So I always say a great show.
How can Valentine's Day be bad?
Yeah. Well, we aren't going to really have, we aren't having Cupid on the show or anything like that. But we will talk about Valentine's Day. But before we do that, we are going to have Bobby Ludwig here from Edward Jones Investments. And we are also going to have Jeremy Sauls here from Highwire. He's going to talk about lighting and television and some things like that. Before we get to that, whenever you're ready, Joe, if you can bring up the house of the month, we'll go ahead and show them what's on the market that's new and available. This is a townhome, and it's on Thompson Lane. Beautiful townhome. It's 2 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, but it also has a bonus room with it, and it has a garage with it, which is wonderful because not all townhomes come with garages. It's got a lovely pantry. You can see it's a very large pantry and eat-in area just off the kitchen. That corner room there is the half bath that's downstairs. And this is in a great location in town. Look at the appliances there, Regina. All stainless steel appliances.
Wow. That
are coming with the house, along with that island there in the kitchen. And throughout the house, it's all ceramic tile and all hardwood floors, not a stitch of carpeting. That TV there on the wall stays. They didn't want to pull it off and cart it off with them, so not only do you get the appliances, you get the TV. So that's pretty good. If you're looking for a flat screen, there you go. So check out that house. It's 1069. And these days, when you got a property like that, you pay less to buy something like that than you do to rent these days.
Absolutely. Now, where is Thompson Lane?
Thompson Lane is off of Georgetown. So, you know, it's like I said, a great location. If you're by Clinging Ridge Baptist Church, you turn right in that area, and it's just barely up on the hillside there. But it's 1069. Like I said, it's a townhome. There's 4 of them there together. And it's 2 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, but you have the bonus room in the garage. And you get that TV. They also are leaving behind an elliptical. So if you want to work out, they're leaving one of those behind too. So they don't want to drag that out of the house. So you get a few perks with this house. That's not normal. So there you go.
Not bad.
There you go. All right. Well, as always, we always like to have a topic of conversation. So since February is Valentine's month, Cupid month, I had to do a little research about Valentine's Day. You ready for this?
I don't know, Doc.
Well, it's okay. What I decided to do is look up some of the customs and traditions that we have for Valentine's Day, and then I looked up sort of the reason why we even have Valentine's Day, because I really didn't know. I mean, do you know why we have Valentine's Day?
All I know is at Bradley High School, we shut the library down, and we have literally hundreds of deliveries.
Okay.
That is the big day at Bradley.
But that doesn't tell us why we have that.
I don't know why we have it. I just know what happens.
All right. Well, for Valentine's Day, here are some of the basic customs or traditions that are involved in Valentine's Day. First one is Valentine's Day is the biggest day to go out and find a date. You going out to find a date? You don't have to anymore.
I'm going home watching TV.
You're going home watching TV. But evidently, that is the one day of the year that people, well, maybe New Year's Eve anymore. But anyway, traditionally, it was the one day that everybody wanted to make sure they had a date. They had a sweetheart for that particular night. Secondly, one of the traditions is that Valentine's Day was always associated with romance, romantic couples. But you know what? Now it's associated with grandma. It's associated with friends. I can go out and get a Valentine's card from my cat if I want to. You know, I can wish my cat a happy Valentine's Day. So it has definitely lost its romantic trend on many levels. Valentine's Day was always about handwritten notes. And it wasn't until the big card companies came out that we started seeing greeting cards. And Valentine's Day is the second biggest card day for, you know, the processed cards, I guess I'll say it.
Oh, absolutely.
But Valentine's Day always used to be about the handwritten note. Why? I don't ever remember too many people doing a handwritten note. Do you?
Yeah.
Always go find the card.
Do you remember, Doc, when you were in school, Valentine's Day, every one of us had a little box.
Oh,
and
yes.
Everybody in the classroom would come put your little Valentines. Yes. And as my kids were growing up, that was the thing until Cal came. And then evidently that's kind of made its way out.
Has it? Well, that was one of the other customs in here, is that all the schools would have Valentine's Day parties. And I can remember my mom would go out and buy me this package of Valentine's Day, and I'd look at them and go, ooh, I don't want to ask this boy to be my Valentine because I don't like this boy, but this Valentine here I really do like, so I want this boy to have this one or this friend to have this one. And it'd take a while to figure out who should get what Valentine, and then you'd run to your box and you just want to make sure that that boy or that friend or whoever sent you back the exact same Valentine or type of Valentine that you sent them, and it was a big deal.
And if they ever signed it, love such and such.
Yes, that was big stuff.
That was
there.
big.
All right, another tradition for Valentine's Day is receiving gifts. Roses, chocolates, and teddy bears are the top 3 gifts, although I heard on a talk show the other day that chocolates is falling by the wayside because we are becoming weight conscious. And that teddy bears, those new teddy bears that you can get, the 4-foot teddy bears, nothing says I love you like a teddy bear, a cuddly bear, has kind of replaced chocolates. Don't know if that's true. Jewelry, but it wasn't in the top 3. So there you go. Another tradition of Valentine's Day is, I guess there's a lot of proposing that goes on during Valentine's Day.
I was going to say engagements.
Yeah, so a lot of engagements. All right, history of Valentine's Day. It did not start with school, you know, Bradley or whatever. They have several reasons why Valentine's Day started, and nobody seems to know for sure. So I'm going to throw some out at you. It says that Valentine's Day started in ancient Rome. Okay, and that there used to be a feast, and at this feast, the elders of this Roman community would have this feast, and they would separate all the single boys and girls, and they would put all of their names in jars, and then they would pull out a boy's name and a girl's name out of the jar, and then those two were to be together for that year, dating. And
wow.
That's how they hooked them up. Now, they didn't necessarily have to stay together after that year, but for that year they dated and were, quote unquote, a romantic couple. Sometimes they did fall in love and marry, and sometimes they just waited till the next year and saw who they got at the next year's drawing. So there you go. Another one said that during the reign of Claudius of Rome, that he was against romantic love because his soldiers wouldn't go off and fight in battle. So he forbade men and women to get married and to have romance. So St. Valentine came along and defied that law, and he married a bunch of people behind the emperor's back, and so he was put to death. And so St. Valentine's Day came about as a result of his heroics. Another one says that it came about because while he was in prison, this St. Valentine, he fell in love with the jailer's daughter. And before he was to be executed, he wrote her a note and signed it, "From your Valentine." And quote unquote, that's where we got Valentine's Day from. And the last thing I learned about Valentine's Day is that in the Middle Ages, people noticed that birds who mate for life always seem to hook up around the middle of February. And so they just declared February 14th, because that's when birds start to find their mate, as Valentine's Day. Now, I don't know which one of those is true, so I think you can pick the one that you like and go with it. So which one do you like?
I like the bird story.
You like the bird story? I kind of like Valentine being in prison and signing it, "From your Valentine."
Oh, that's good too. I like the birds.
Yeah, they're both pretty good. So anyway, pick whatever Valentine story you want, share it with your Valentine. On Valentine's Day, you'll impress them because you know the history of Valentine's Day, and just check that out.
Good trivia question.
Yeah, it would be. And there's no wrong answer. That's what's so good about this. The only thing I can tell you for sure, it wasn't started by Hallmark, you know, and that seems to be what everybody thinks.
Where does Cupid come into this?
I didn't. That will be next year's project. We'll research Cupid. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do that. All right. Well, we're about ready to go to break, but in the meantime, remember the house that we talked about on Thompson Lane? Be sure that you check that out. If you got a computer, you can pull that up and look at it. And we'll be back in just a few moments with Bobby Ludwig from Edward Jones, and we're going to ask him all kinds of investment questions. And so we are going to pick his brain and see what he knows. We'll see you in just a few moments.
Logan Thompson, attorneys at law, have built a firm offering quality legal services to the people and businesses of Southeast Tennessee. We have achieved expertise in all areas of law in order to represent our clients in a manner they need, deserve, and have come to expect. Logan Thompson, with 9 attorneys and an extensive and competent support staff, is available to provide representation in various legal areas, including family law, Social Security benefits, personal injury, criminal defense, workmen's compensation, as well as business and complex litigation matters. At Logan Thompson, we have been building a tradition of legal services for over 40 years. We have developed the finest legal services and are proficient in providing you with representation you can trust. Give us a call at 423-476-2251 to schedule your free consultation.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000 bucks. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
Featuring some of the South's most scenic views, the Mountain View Inn has been a landmark in the Cleveland community for over 40 years. Our executive guest quarters with flat screen TVs and excellent bedding will make any guest comfortable. Carrie's Restaurant is one of Cleveland's favorite, with one of the best buffets around.
Hello, and on behalf of the Hughes family, thank you for so many years of your business and your friendship.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
All right, welcome back to Tennessee Valley This Morning. We are here with our first guest. This is Bobby Ludwig of Edward Jones Investments, and we brought him in because I don't know about you, but I really don't know much about investments, and I have been in and I have talked with Bobby on several occasions. It's kind of like health insurance for me. I need about 5 appointments before it begins to make sense. So I'm glad you're here this morning.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Good. And so we are just going to ask Bobby to kind of share with us how things are looking for the future. I know we've all heard some scary things. We've all been through some scary things, and the market has certainly dipped in the past, and we've all suffered from that, and I think most people out there understand that. So I guess we'd like to hear some encouraging words from you, hopefully, for the year 2013, and see what you can tell us as we look at our portfolios and maybe what we need to do with portfolios and how we should look to the future.
Sure. Well, great questions, Doc. And there's no question that investors are licking their wounds, so to speak, over the last 5 years and even the last decade. We go back to early 2000s, 2001, 2002. And what I deal with on a daily basis is trying to help investors understand the market, the cyclical nature of the markets. And in the last several years has been no exception to that. So we've seen some pretty extreme market volatility in market cycles. However, the good news is, as with all things, this too shall pass, and of course we're now moving into an economic cycle. We're seeing economic growth, so I believe there is some encouraging news in 2013. Actually, 2012 was a fantastic year. So the S&P, I believe, finished up about 13% in 2012. In fact, in January we saw just over 5% growth in the S&P, and you have to go back to 1997 to see a January at just over 5%. So you know, if you think about what your CD rates might be earning out there, 5% is not too bad. So we've had a great 2012, and our economy continues to grow, and hopefully 2013 we see that trend continuing, and we can talk more about that.
Now, when you talk about investors, when I think of investors, I always think of people with tons of money, but you're talking about just the average person can be the investor. I think that's one thing we don't think about, is somebody who doesn't have all of this money could still be an investor, correct?
Absolutely. And it's another great question, and you're exactly right. We are all investors. If you've got money in a checking account, in a money market account, in the coffee can, or underneath the mattress, you are an investor. Or you own stocks and bonds or mutual funds, you are an investor. If you work in a company, have a 401k or a 403b if you're a teacher, or you work for any institution that has money that's put away on a monthly basis into the stock market or some account that you have nothing or know nothing about, you are an investor. So we all, if you have money, you invest those funds. It's just where you choose to invest those funds. And of course, we have a discussion with clients and those that come in the office of what's long term and what's short term, and we try to educate appropriately.
Right. Now, I know one thing I have always heard, and again, I'm not good with understanding stock market and those types of things, but I always hear about diversity. Can you talk about what diversity means to someone?
Sure, and diversification is the key and it's critical inside a portfolio. And diversification doesn't mean I own a bunch of something. Diversification doesn't necessarily mean I've got 5 stocks or 10 stocks, or I've got these mutual funds. Diversification, true diversification, means that we own, we essentially have, I build the analogy, and it may not be a very good analogy, but you're driving down the interstate and there's 6 lanes, you're going to Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, and you get 6 lanes on your side, or maybe even 8 lanes, and you're in a hurry, so you try to find the right lane that's going the fastest, correct? As soon as you move into that lane, what ends up happening?
Someone gets in front of you.
Someone gets in front of you. You drive slow again. And then you go into the next lane, believing that one's a quicker lane, and then you get into that lane and it goes slow. Well, the key in what diversification truly is, if you had a way to have a vehicle in every lane, because not every lane is going to move at the same pace at the same time. So true diversification means you have the right mix of monies in fixed income or bond investments. You have the right mix in what we call growth and investments, growth investments. So it's having a vehicle in every lane, and that's certainly something we have a conversation with.
Is that meaning that some of in that diversity, some of that earns money quickly and rapidly, and some of it is kind of like the tortoise that goes along at a very short, but it is consistent,
and it's also because investing in our economy and the markets are very cyclical. And because of the cyclical nature of our economy, the cyclical nature of our investments, not every investment is going to be the winner that particular year.
Right.
And so by diversification, you essentially broaden the chances that you'll have the winner for that year, and also patience. So diversification does not mean you will not lose money or that you'll have a positive return every year, but it helps minimize the losses that you could potentially have. So diversification is about really trying to capitalize, if you will, on the cyclical nature of our economy and of our markets.
Do you, when you talk with people about investing, do you treat someone different who is 25 and then someone who comes to you who's 55 and says, I need to start investing? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be very different horses right there?
Sure, it is, and we don't treat individuals differently for the sake of treating them differently, but they have different time horizons.
They have different
goals, different needs. Exactly true, and people that ought to, those individuals ought to seek professional help in any stage of their career. If they're just starting out, the question is, how much should I save? When do I want to retire? Am I saving enough to meet those retirement goals? Mm-hmm. That's the first question. If you've been in a career for 20, 30 years, are you on track? That's the next question comes. Am I on track to retire at 62 years old? Am I on track to retire at 65, whatever that is, earning an X amount of money per month? Is what I have in a Social Security, a potential pension, a 401k, will those dollars support me living in retirement for 30 years? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, as we get closer to retirement, is what I have able to last? Will it last? Will I have an income that I won't outlive? Will I be able to, if I live to age 100, will I have enough income coming in? And those are questions we help to answer.
I am retired.
Yes, you are. And you had the teacher's retirement there, right?
Yeah, so you've got some resources that people don't have. You know, pretty much right now, unless you're a teacher or a government employee, you don't have a pension. Right. And, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you had a three-legged stool for your retirement plan. You had your pension, your own personal savings, and Social Security. Mm-hmm. And my generation, and many even older than I am, only have a two-legged stool, and one may be half a leg if you have your own savings and potentially Social Security. Now, I'm not an advocate that Social Security is going to, be non-existent. I'm just not sure how old I'll have to be before I can start claiming benefits. Right. So, for those that are my age and around my age, it's important to save. It's critical to save your own money, and because that's going to be the bulk of our money in retirement.
Well, we've had all that discussion about the fiscal cliff,
mm-hmm.
and it came and it went, but it didn't really come and it didn't really go. So that fiscal cliff is still looming out there for all of us. How does that affect us with investing, and how does that affect us with, it's hard to project what you need if there's this cliff always before you. How do you handle that?
Well, and that's a good question. I heard this analogy, and it was like the recent, in the recent fiscal cliff crises at the end of 2012 was kind of like we drove off the cliff, only at the last second we jumped out of the car. So the car went over the cliff, but we didn't. So mm-hmm. now we're not over the cliff, but we also don't have a vehicle. And there's still some challenges there, of course. And that's part of what we consider one of our what we'd see would be an obstacle in 2013. And we talked about 2012 was a fantastic year. We had a great year in the markets. The S&P was up over 13%. Hopefully that translated into your portfolios. We believe 2013 is going to be a good year. We've got a growing economy. Despite, we're growing about 2%, and that's not great. Right. But with the housing market still recovering.
Yay, and I'm very happy
I know you're very happy about the housing market recovering, but we're still seeing recovery in the housing market. So we've had to grow despite the housing market. We've also seen a growth in consumer confidence. But our economy is growing. It will continue to grow. We call it a plow horse economy, if you will. Mm-hmm. Corporate profits are gaining steam. We're seeing corporations earning about 5% annualized. Now that's a little bit lower than normal, but that's, I think, where we see room and opportunity with equities, with stocks in the U.S. market. Corporations are outpacing in growth the economy, and they're essentially leading the economy out. So we see that growth in the 2013. Now, with that being said, there are some obstacles. We do have some points of navigation, and that being the fiscal cliff crises, the debt reduction, the taxation. That's not going away.
Right.
And of course, that will continue to come up, and we'll see issues in Europe come back up again. I mean, those haven't completely gone away. And what I call that, though, we've got to be ready for headline risk. And that headline risk, I wish...
The news.
Yes, the news. I wish everybody could, with the exception of this TV program, just turn your TVs off.
Right.
And not watch the news, not watch the 24-hour news cycles that we have, because we're always bombarded with information, and that information is never good.
Right.
And so it causes a lot of worry and concern, and in many cases, it's legitimate news and legitimate information, but it causes undue worry. And then it causes investors to react emotionally based on short-term information. Like you'd said before, the debt crisis, the fiscal cliff came and it went, and we're sitting here today. You're still retired today.
Yeah.
And I bet when the gas gets empty in your car, what are you going to do?
Get gas.
You're going to get gas. When you run out of food in the grocery store, what are you going to do? Or in the refrigerator, where are you going to go?
I'm going to go to the store.
We're going to go to the grocery store. You know, that happens. So that'll continue to happen in 2013, and we'll continue to have to navigate headline risk in 2013.
Well, I can sure understand that, because I know even in real estate, you know, it was all the gloom and doom about the market. And fortunately for us, Cleveland was in a bubble world of its own. We weren't so bad. So, you know, yeah, those headlines can kill you. One thing I did want to ask you, just kind of in closing here, is I know the interest rates have been really, really low. And on one hand, that's really good for somebody like me who's selling houses and interest rates are low. But for people with CDs, that's not so good. So I guess it's a paradox, but isn't it better if interest rates are up, because then people's CDs and things are earning them more money? Is that...
Well, it's a trade-off. The rates being low, it helps spur on the economy. It helps encourage growth. It helps encourage people to go out and buy houses and refinance. And interest rates are low, then spending gets higher. And so, and interest rates are going to be low for some time. You know, it's kind of interesting. Our 10-year Treasury, and you've been following, because this mortgage rates kind of follow the Treasury notes, but the 10-year Treasury's been below 2%. And you've got to go 50 years. In the last 50 years, it's never been below 2%. And we've been in about a pretty significant cycle where the interest rates have been so low. And there's really not a lot of end in sight with regards to interest rates. But it is important, though. I know we've talked about a great 2012 and I believe an encouraging 2013, but it's very important to understand that corrections also happen. And whether it's in the interest rate because some news comes up about Treasury interest rates spike, but we will see market corrections, and it's important if you're an investor out there, you've got in mutual funds, you've got stocks, be ready, be prepared for it, navigate through headline risk, but we will see corrections. Like we mentioned before, the stock market is cyclical. A correction to market, we'll see a pullback. It's not going to go up forever, and it's going to pull back some. The market's going to pull back some. That's not a time to react emotionally. I just am trying to prepare clients for that, because we've had a great run, and we want to say 2 or 3 good years and we're going to have a bad year. 2 or 3 good years and have a bad year, but over time it grows and the markets grow.
We were talking about that last night with mine.
Exactly, yeah.
Because I pulled everything I had out and put it fixed.
Yep. There you go. Well, Bobby, we appreciate you being with us, and what I'd like for you to do is let the people know where your office is, how they can contact you with a phone number, website, email address, whatever you want to give them, and kind of your hours. Let them know how to contact you.
Sure. We'd love if you've got questions at all regarding 401ks, or perhaps you're retiring soon, or you're just now starting to work and you've got a 401k and you'd like to know how much you should be putting money aside, give us a call at the office for a free retirement review. There's no cost to our consultation in the office. The number is 473-2215. Again, that's 473-2215, or stop by and see us. And of course, there's several Edward Jones offices here in Cleveland. But my office is on Ocoee and 20th Street, right by the old Liner gas station. You may hear me on the radio on the mix in the morning, do the market reports, but we're right there close to downtown. Would love to have you in a nice little house and real comfortable, and come see us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us today, and time always goes really, really fast. I have sat down with Bobby, and he's been very gracious to spend a lot of time and explain a lot of things to me, because I'm very ignorant, and he has a lot of patience. So even if you just have questions, I would encourage you to pick up the phone and call him, and he will be glad to talk with you. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. And I'm going to get with you.
Yes.
There you go.
We are going to get together soon.
There you go. You heard it from Regina, so we'll check up on that. All righty. We will be back after commercial breaks with Jeremy Saltz from Highwire. So stay tuned.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000 bucks. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
Logan Thompson, attorneys at law, have built a firm offering quality legal services to the people and businesses of Southeast Tennessee. We have achieved expertise in all areas of law in order to represent our clients in a manner they need, deserve, and have come to expect. Logan Thompson, with 9 attorneys and an extensive and competent support staff, is available to provide representation in various legal areas, including family law, Social Security benefits, personal injury, criminal defense, workmen's compensation, as well as business and complex litigation matters. At Logan Thompson, we have been building a tradition of legal services for over 40 years. We have developed the finest legal services and are proficient in providing you with representation you can trust. Give us a call at 423-476-2251 to schedule your free consultation.
Featuring some of the South's most scenic views, the Mountain View Inn has been a landmark in the Cleveland community for over 40 years. Our executive guest quarters with flat-screen TVs and excellent bedding will make any guest comfortable. Carrie's Restaurant is one of Cleveland's favorite, with one of the best buffets around.
Hello, and on behalf of the Hughes family, thank you for so many years of your business and your friendship.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Alrighty, welcome back to the show. We are here this time with Jeremy Saltz of Highwire. Now, Jeremy was actually on the show once before, and he was promoting a different product, shall we say. But we've got him here today to talk about TVs and to talk about lighting and what is happening in those areas. And he's going to be the expert and answer all of our questions about that. So we're going to talk about television and the different things that are happening in the TV world and what you can tell us, because I know one of the things that has impressed me is I'm in a meeting with him, and one day he came in and he brought in like 7 remotes. And he said, now, if you have all these remotes in your house, this one controls this, and this one does this, and this one does that. And I'm sitting there going, yeah. And he said, or you can have this one, and it controls absolutely everything. And he said, and if you're not really technically with it, if you're technically challenged, you can just press this button here. And I thought, boy, I need to get something like that. So you do a lot of that kind of work to simplify those things, because even those universal remotes, I'm telling you, they are not universal. I don't care what they tell you. So how can you simplify life for those people out there that have those 3, 4, 5, 7 remotes?
Well, that's a great way to put it, simplify life, because that's exactly what we do. Is we try to add value to people as far as making life easier, because technology has its challenges.
It does.
In everyday life.
And it changes constantly.
Yeah, whether it's just watching TV or making a phone call, it seems to be getting more and more difficult sometimes.
Yes.
So yes, what we do is we provide solutions for everyday tasks like watching TV. And like you said, if you've got, a lot of people have 6 or 7 remotes laying on the coffee table or maybe spread all around the living room, and not really sure what button to press and what remote to pick up and when to do what. And so we simplify that. And I actually brought one to show just so that people can see. But this is kind of what we call a universal remote, but it's programmed by myself via a computer to control all of your devices. And it's as simple.
All of them, every single one.
All of them. And it's as simple as, and I'll show you, that says watch and read. Oh,
she needs her glasses, folks.
Okay.
So watch what?
Satellite, Blu-ray, Xbox, Wii.
So it's function based. So if you pick up the remote and you want to watch satellite or watch cable, whatever it might be, you press one button, everything turns on and is set correctly just how you would need it to work.
Cool.
Very simple. And it can be programmed to for anybody's system, customized for however each person might need it. Rechargeable batteries, you know.
Love it.
Now, I know we're going to get into lighting in a minute, but can that one remote do the lighting and everything in the house? Or is that 2 different things there?
You can go that route.
Okay.
We can keep it as simple as controlling your TV and the Blu-ray player and the Xbox, you know, those kind of things. Or you can have a remote that'll control the lights, the thermostat.
The thermostat too.
Even if you want to get creative as to have a remote to open and close the shades on the window. Those things are available nowadays.
For kids?
We haven't perfected that one yet. No.
Hey, I was sold.
So if you can think of it, it's pretty much possible to be done today.
How long does it take you to take somebody with 4 or 5 remotes and to put it all into one?
A basic system, a couple hours.
Okay. And how easy is it for that homeowner to screw up what you did? Because you know, on a computer, someone will go in there and set up your program for you, and then you press the wrong button and you've screwed it up. Can you make that like technically challenged proof for those of us that have those issues?
Well, the great thing is there's no delete button on these remotes.
Well, that's
so
helpful.
You can't delete anything. There are some consumer-based remotes out there, what I call consumer grade.
Okay.
I don't trust those as well as I trust these. These remotes are made by companies. That's all they do.
Okay.
They're specialized in the remote world, and I've never had one fail to turn on a device other than batteries going dead or maybe a battery going bad. But other than that, they're rock solid. They even make waterproof versions of these as well for the poolside person.
Really?
To control music.
Okay, I lose my remote constantly. Is there any way, there's anything on there that you can call or beep or something where you can find your remote?
That's a great question.
We should invent that.
Maybe we should.
Because
you might want to patent that.
I've often said I wish I could call my remote. Because we have spent literally hours, Doc, looking for a remote.
Maybe clap twice and
clap,
your remote beeps
whistle,
or something.
do something and you find your remote. Work on that.
Might work on that, yes.
Work on that.
And then that one remote can control anything in any area of the house. Like you could take that one remote and you could go upstairs to a different room.
It would need to be programmed for that, but it can be programmed to do basically whatever you want it to do. So if, for instance, if you said, I want to be able to, this remote, I want it to be able to control my TV in the living room, but I also want to be able to carry this remote up and control the TV in my upstairs bonus room.
But if you've got several people in your house, you would want several of these, one for each TV.
I would think so.
Because we would be watching different things.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so is something like that, because everybody always wants to know what the bottom dollar is something like that real expensive? Is it affordable?
It used to be. It used to be very expensive to do these devices. And recently, there's been several movements in this industry with iPhones and iPads and those kind of things coming along that have caused these companies to realize that they can't charge an exorbitant amount of money anymore for these devices. So they have come down to the point where roughly about $250 for a completely customizable color touchscreen remote. That takes a couple hours to program on average. So for $350, you're set, where in the past, just a couple years ago, it was $1,000 to do that same thing. So it has gotten better. Will it continue to get better? There's no way to know, but it's a lot better now than it used to be.
Great. Well, another thing that you do that I've heard you talk about a lot is, everybody likes the surround sound.
Yes.
And, as a real estate agent, I go into all these houses and I can see the speakers mounted everywhere. And I know you talk about putting the speakers inside the walls.
Correct.
And everything is now wireless, correct?
No.
Okay, so it is wired.
Well, there's two types of sound.
Okay.
Okay, let's clarify. You have surround sound, which is for watching movies, TV programs, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then you have music, which would be two different applications. So music would be if you're having a party, you've got background music playing just to fill the room with sound. Or maybe you've had a hard day at work, you come home, turn on the music, and you just want to relax to some nice, peaceful audio from all over the house. Okay. Two different applications. When you're sitting in a chair watching a TV program or watching a movie, you have surround sound, you have effects. You have your left and right speakers, and you've got your subwoofer for the explosions, and you've got the speakers behind you for the time in the movie when somebody's walking behind you, or just those effect type things. That's a specific use type of audio system. That is surround sound. Having speakers all around the room playing your favorite song is not surround sound. So two different applications. They've kind of been blurred. Those terms have been used loosely, and people think, if I have 10 speakers all over my room, that's surround sound. Not necessarily. Yeah,
I've always heard that, so I'm glad for the clarification.
Yeah, I've even heard car manufacturers say that their car has surround sound.
I've heard that.
Yeah, that just means it's around you. That isn't necessarily specifically the 5.1 surround like we hear about all the time.
And you do, though, hide the speakers in the walls and stuff.
Yes, I prefer that. I mean, doing this for 10 years, the aesthetics of the room are just as important as the performance.
Absolutely.
Sometimes more, because you have to be able to appease both parties of the home.
Yes.
And a lot of times looks are more important than performance, so to speak. So we have to marry those together, and we have products nowadays that help with that. Actually putting a speaker in the wall, and all you see then is the grill, the perforated grill to let the sound through. That's all you see nowadays, instead of having big speakers mounted on the wall. Or
yeah, that's one thing I've never liked when we show homes and you see the speakers, or you've seen where the speakers have been, and now they've got to replace them with something, and of course that's kind of old school now. So
yeah, and then what do? You can't paint them.
Right.
The in-wall ones you can paint and virtually disappear.
Right. Right. Well, in the moments that we have left, let's quickly talk about lighting, because I know that you can also do things with lighting so that people can do that while they're even away from home.
Yes.
And can control their lighting. We don't have a lot of time left, but I do want to touch on that because I know that's important to people.
Yeah, I'm an audio video guy. I love technology, but lighting control is something that I get excited about because it's something that we interact with every day as human beings, and it's been around for over 100 years. So lighting control is what? I brought some props with me today. This is lighting control, right?
Old school. Yeah.
On, off, on, off.
Yes.
This thing hasn't changed in 100 years. We still have light switches. And a lot of people have these on their wall.
I've got those. Yeah.
You got these. A lot of people hate this, the 4-gang box, and I've even seen 6. They hate this, but
I'll tell you why. Because when mine does that. When I want to turn a light on, I go through every one of these before I get the right light.
Don't know which one it is.
Right, that's why they hate
forget.
it. I just want one.
And I've even seen these stacked, one on top of the other. When they're turned this way, all kinds of crazy things. And it's just the way it's always been, and people don't realize that they have an option. Well, we can take this and dig in my bag here, my box of goodies, and we can actually turn that into this. So you go from this, as ugly as this is, to this, which is a keypad.
Okay.
And as you can see, they're labeled.
I can't see.
Oh. Yeah, it's labeled. I'm telling you, it's labeled, Regina.
So we've got great room, hall, kitchen, bar, dining, just as an example. So now you know when you press the great room button, what happens. The great room lights turn on. And you can even get to the point where you can say a button labeled entertain. So instead of having to go around the house and flipping on switches and setting dimmers, you press a button and now the whole house turns on exactly how you want it for the party.
Wow. So you've programmed all that.
You've programmed on that, yeah.
Okay.
And the homeowner obviously programs, we help, but obviously the homeowner decides how they want their lights and we just do it for them. And you can make changes. It's not that difficult in today's systems.
Cool.
So you can take this and turn it into this. And it makes the walls cleaner. You can really get custom with colors. I mean, there's all kinds of color options nowadays, 30 some odd colors from this company's Lutron, how they make their stuff. So they've got all kinds of things. And this one's my favorite. This is just an example. This is a black gloss receptacle with a faux stainless. It looks like real stainless steel, but it's not for safety purposes. But this is a black receptacle with a stainless plate. This is hot in kitchens.
I'll bet
You've got black granite and stainless countertops.
Sure.
This is an awesome looking piece to set off the kitchen. So all kinds of things you can do nowadays with lighting. And like you mentioned, turn lights on and off remotely. Nowadays we can interface with our phones, with iPads, computers.
Sure.
You can have the house work for you instead of you having to run around the house, do stuff.
So when you're gone, you can turn lights off, on or off, or if you can be gone on vacation, you can turn them on, or you can
Vacation
come home.
mode is popular. That way people, your house doesn't sit dormant. It looks like somebody's home,
Nice.
security reasons.
Or you can come in and have the lights on before you get home. You don't have to walk into a dark house. Which
when you unlock your car with a remote, what happens to the car? Light turns on, right? Same thing with your house.
Awesome.
Drive up, hit the button, open the garage door, hit a button, lights in the house turn on. You don't walk into a dark home.
That's
Here again,
great.
security.
That's great. Well, Jeremy, we got to wrap it up. Would you tell everybody out there how to contact you?
Sure.
Phone number, website, email address, whatever, so they know how to get in touch with you.
All right. The best way to get a hold of me, we're always mobile. My number is 322-4464, 322-4464. We have an office here in town, but I'm never there, and there's really nothing to show. I'm always at people's homes. I like to meet people where they are, because that's how this stuff works. It works for them, not for me, even though I have this in my house, a lot of this technology. But if there's anybody who'd like to see lighting control, like to see remotes, like to touch these things for real, that's what we do. We use our house for that. As long as I give my wife 24 hours notice, that was the original agreement. So we love to show it off.
Alrighty. Well, definitely, you've heard some wonderful guests today. So if you're interested in investments and more knowledge there, if you're interested in some technology as far as your TVs or your lighting or things like that, please give either one of these guys a call. They would love to talk to you, and they'd be happy to help you out with any problems or needs that you might have. Did you learn something today?
Absolutely, but I think I've torn his thing up already.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
I pushed the button and it says, enjoy your game.
There you go. Well, we appreciate you being with us, and as always, check out that house. Again, I'm Doc Carmel with Keller Williams Realty, and we will be back after this break to kind of wrap things up. And in the meantime, check out these guys' phone numbers, give them a call, and we'll be back in just a few. Thanks so much.
Logan Thompson, attorneys at law, have built a firm offering quality legal services to the people and businesses of Southeast Tennessee. We have achieved expertise in all areas of law in order to represent our clients in a manner they need, deserve, and have come to expect. Logan Thompson, with 9 attorneys and an extensive and competent support staff, is available to provide representation in various legal areas, including family law, Social Security benefits, personal injury, criminal defense, workman's compensation, as well as business and complex litigation matters. At Logan Thompson, we have been building a tradition of legal services for over 40 years. We have developed the finest legal services and are proficient in providing you with representation you can trust. Give us a call at 423-476-2251 to schedule your free consultation.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here. Doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000 bucks. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
Featuring some of the South's most scenic views, the Mountain View Inn has been a landmark in the Cleveland community for over 40 years. Our executive guest quarters with flat screen TVs and excellent bedding will make any guest comfortable. Carrie's Restaurant is one of Cleveland's favorite, with one of the best buffets around.
Hello, and on behalf of the Hughes family, thank you for so many years of your business and your friendship.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Alrighty, welcome back, and we are here to wrap up the show for this morning. We hope you enjoyed our guests, Bobby Ludwig and Jeremy Sauls, and hope you learned a lot. Did you learn something today?
Absolutely.
Well, what did you learn?
I'm going to learn more from investments. I know that.
From Bobby.
So I'm going to learn more. I'm already at that retired age, but I'm going to learn more.
So you're still going to invest and try to save some money, or, you know?
Well, I'm going to show him what I've got.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things.
Sure.
Annuities that we did, and I'm going to get with him, and he's going to look, and I may have the right thing. I don't know.
Right.
But he's just going to check it out. And then I really like the remote.
Did you?
Now, the lighting's excellent, but I don't know that we can afford to do that. But the remote, I thought, Doc, that would be excellent, because I can't even watch Netflix unless Rusty's there. Seriously, we just got it, and I don't know how to do the input and out. Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Right.
And my poor old mom, she's got 3 remotes.
Does she?
And like he was talking about people, so what a great gift for someone. If you've got an elderly mother that has these 2 or 3 remotes, or what a great gift.
That's a good idea.
You know?
Good thought. Could be a good Mother's Day present for her.
It'd be a great Mother's Day. That's, and some of these people out here might want to look into that. If they have, you know, I know that my mom has these 3 sitting here, and she has to turn the TV on with one, and then if she wants to watch cable, not, you know, this, she does. And I thought, what? Yeah, that's something worth looking into.
Absolutely.
At an affordable price.
I can tell you, as a real estate agent, I can't tell you how many times I've done an open house on a Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4, and I'll say, well, I'm just going to turn the TV on, you know, to have some noise going on, you know, so they don't think I'm listening to them as they're going through the house. And cotton pick, I can't turn the TV on. I can't figure out how to get a channel, and I'll just sit there and go, this is so frustrating. So now I just take my computer and I take a CD and I play some music, because I've given up on the fact that I know how to turn on anybody's TV if it's not mine. So yeah, if the rest of the world would just get, you know, together on this remote business, it would really help me out, if not everybody else. So I agree with you. And as far as investments for me, I've had a plethora of jobs. So I have gone from having a 401k to just kind of working where there was no retirement plan, to now being self-employed. So I have been in speaking with Bobby about all these different issues, from, you know, how do you come up with a retirement plan when you have all these different pieces of all this puzzle that make no sense to you. And so he has sat down with me, and, you know, we are charting a course, and that feels good, you know, just to know that you've got a direction to go.
To have someone to explain it to you, it's like, all I've ever known is I have a retirement account. And people say, do you have a 401k? I don't know.
Right.
And he used a number yesterday, oh, you've got a whatever, 402 or 403 or something. I'm like, I don't know.
And when somebody tells you,
I just know I've got an annuity. What's that called?
Yeah.
You know,
and what is an annuity? What is a bond? What is a stock?
So
what is it this? What is it that? I'm like, I have no idea.
To sit down with Bobby and just to have him explain, this is what you've got, this is what you need, or you've got what you need. And I know Bobby, because I've known him for years, he's going to be honest with me.
Right.
And he's going to tell me that, you know, you've got what you need.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, that's not something that you want to take lightly, is your future. You know?
And I can assure you that he is going to guide you in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Because he's not out for himself. And I that's why I'm going to sit down with him.
So you're giving a personal reference then?
I'm definitely giving a personal reference.
Okay.
Know him well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I can say the same for both the guys. So we hope today that you have been educated, that you have learned a lot, that you've got some good solid information, some good contact information. And I encourage you, I know Regina does too, to contact these guys, and, you know, don't put it off. Don't think, well, you know, I can do it later, because boy, there's no time like the present. And I wish I had started my retirement plan a long time ago when I had the money. And I could have done something with it, but I was too busy spending it and having fun with it, and now I'm regretting that. So don't do that. That's what would be my advice to you. So definitely contact these guys for your needs, and they'll be happy to talk with you. And as always, we are glad you joined us, and I do want you to check out that house on Thompson Lane. It's actually the townhome. Again, remember that it's 2 bedrooms, 1.5 baths. It's got that bonus room. If you have allergies, it's perfect, because there's no carpet in the house anywhere. So you got hardwoods, you've got ceramic tile, and a great location. You got the garage, and it's a cute little house, and it's not very old. It's less than 5 years old.
Sounds perfect. And remember, Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Don't forget your loved one, and we accept flowers, candies.
That's right.
We accept any of the above, cards,
teddy bears,
money,
and
jewelry.
And don't forget to pick the story that you want for Valentine's Day. I gave you several options, so, you know, run with any of them that you want, and you should be fine, and you'll impress the person that you love, because you know.
That's coming up Thursday. You've got 3 days.
That's right. The reason for Valentine's Day. So as always, we are going to sign off. I'm Doc Carbo with Keller Williams Realty. The slogan is, if you want opportunity to knock, you talk to Doc. And I think we're going to have to get a slogan for you.
I don't do anything.
Well,
you got to think of something I do. I'm retired.
Or maybe you can think of something that she does. Well,
I'm retired.
Something like that. Anyway, we will see you next month. Thank you for joining us. And as always, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Doc.
All right. Take care now.